A dynamic duo is revolutionizing the dining scene in North Jersey. Brothers Dean and Thomas Maroulakos founded Skopos Hospitality Group in 2015 with a vision of elevating the food and beverage experience in the suburbs. From craft cocktails at Cowan's Public to the vibrant Mexican flavors of their newest venture, Nómada, which would be the way you pronounce it in Spanish, Nómada. Probably people say Nomada. Their innovative concepts have turned local dining into a destination affair for sure. And joining us now are Dean Maroulakos, the operating partner and creative director, and Thomas Maroulakos, CEO of Skopos Catering. Gentlemen, welcome. My family was in restaurants for a bunch of years. I bow to you because I know how much work it is to be successful in the dining industry. It is very hard. So welcome. Good to have you both on this morning.
For having us.
Great to be here.
This is my way. This is my way of checking your mic to make sure it's working. I say good morning unless you say, and this is like, yeah, the mic's working. Let's start out with Dean. And you heard the Italians gushing a minute ago. The Greeks, you guys are cousins for sure, right? You are our blood cousins. We always have competition between the Italians and the Greeks, but the Greeks would say, but we win, Ken. The best olive oil is Greek, so it is what it is. Let's start,
Absolutely.
Dean. Right? I mean, come on. I love all things Greek. Greek food, no question. And I make, by the way, a great spanakopita, which I will bring to you guys. You tell me if you like it. I'll give you my recipe for spanakopita. But let's start with the
Sounds
beginning here.
fantastic.
Scopus Hospitality Group launched with Cowan's Public in 2015. It's about to hit its 10-year anniversary next month. What inspired you? And Thomas, the two of you, to bring this fresh approach to northern New Jersey, because it used to be that we're the suburbs. You don't need specialty dining here. Just, fast food is fine. Not the case anymore because people don't want to drive into the city. So what was the impetus behind that?
That's exactly it. I was running a couple bars and restaurants in Manhattan. Tom was bartending at one of them and working for a brewery out in Jersey. And we were like, we come into the city all the time. We're always hanging out in the city for these, slightly elevated experiences in terms of the food, beverage, and decor. And why don't we kind of try this in New Jersey? And the opportunity for the space where we have now have Cowan's Public came available, and it happened to be the bar in the town that our parents grew up in, and our father actually bartended at in the 70s when he was in college. And so we said, hey, let's try this here and see what happens. It was originally going to open just as a craft beer bar, and as we were developing it and the space came together with the design, we said, let's try some cocktails as well. And we gave it a shot. It ended up taking off and being a huge success, and it was kind of the beginning of our journey 10 years later, and here we are.
Well, here's a question then. When obviously it's so hard to be successful in the food industry, what for every one successful eatery, you have like 10 that go bankrupt in a year. It is so hard to do. Do you guys come up with the concept first and then find the location and the space? Or do you look around and say, oh, this is available. I know what would go here. Which comes first, the chicken or the egg?
It really depends on the concept a little bit. Some of the projects it was the space, or we had an idea we wanted to do like an American style pub or a tavern restaurant, but we didn't know what the exact concept was. For example, our second space, the Barrow House.
Mhm.
We looked into the history of the property. It was an old farmhouse, around 150 years ago, and we said, hey, let's kind of lean into that. And then we kind of developed the design and the menu around that. For Nomada, our newest concept, that the space was available. We had been talking about doing a Mexican concept for a while, and so it kind of just made sense, and we kind of worked the design around the existing space that we had available.
I love that. I love it, and it's sort of an upscale Mexican, which is really really cool because Mexican cuisine is really intense. I'm a foodie. We were in the restaurant industry, my family too, and people think Mexican, they think Taco Bell. Stop that. That's disrespectful. Mexican cuisine is phenomenal. You go to Mexico City, the food scene in Mexico City is insane. It's so good. And then you guys came up with the speakeasy, the attic bar. So to talk about that.
Yeah, that was a cool concept in Jersey City that we found. It's a Victorian building that it's a so we have a like, tavern on the first floor, and in the back there's a two-story carriage house. And we were kind of like, what do we do with the second story? It had its own entrance, and we said, you know what, it's Jersey City, and we really love leaning into the cocktail aspect of things. And so we kind of developed this little 28 seat first come first serve cocktail bar right off of the downtown area on Barrow Street, and it's just a really cool niche little spot that takes you kind of away from everything that's happening in the city around you.
And what a great location for it too. That's such a because that's where you have the young, upwardly mobile, the guys with the money, the young professional women, and they want a cool place to meet and have cocktails, and they have the money, they have the disposable income. That's just a great location for that. So smart. And Thomas, as CEO of Skopos Catering, you've overseen the growth of the empire from Cowan's Public to six distinct venues, of course. How do you balance scaling the business while keeping the high quality elevated experience consistent with all the locations because it's so hard. You achieve a level, but to
Yeah.
maintain it is very difficult.
Yeah, it's just a classic case of having the right people in place, and I can't give enough credit to our team. And that's that slow build. 10 years is short, but a long time to really build this company that we put together. But along the way, we've really had some great team members that have allowed us to grow this company. And as we started our catering venture several years ago, we've been able to really grow at a pretty significant rate because of the great team that we have. Where the reputation behind our hospitality group, of course, has really helped us start and launch that. But being able to rely on team members that act as owners of the business is critical.
And you mentioned tailoring menus before to fit the suburban community, which is so important, especially at Cowan's with the craft beer and the cocktail focus. So, what's been the biggest lesson you think that you've learned about what people in northern New Jersey crave? And how's that shaped your newer projects like the Parkside Social or Gus's Last Word? Because the thing is, I think people they like the upscale, the new, the clever, but at the same time, it's hard to find people who are going to spend the money in northern New Jersey. So that's a difficult tightrope to walk.
Yeah, and I think that's where we kind of succeed. We're not fine dining. We're just taking classic dishes, putting a slight twist on it so they're still approachable, they're still comfortable, and they're still accessible at a reasonable price point. Same thing with the cocktails, taking the idea of classics and just using new ingredients, bringing new things in. So it's kind of fun where our staff gets excited, we get excited about what we're offering, and we get to share new things that we're discovering that are coming out in the market with our guests without saying, without putting things on that no one will understand. And for Nómada, for example, where we're using a lot of ingredients from Mexico that people might not be familiar with, we've added like a little glossary to the menu, and our staff's very well trained so that they kind of will approach guests saying, "Hey, if you have any questions, if you're not sure what anything is, we're excited to tell you about what we have available and share it with you, and here have a taste of this or that to see if you like it or not before you try it and dive in."
That I love what you just said because you have the two types of diners, right? You have the adventurous, anything that's a little different or a twist on the traditional. It could be just, let's just say chicken parm. I'm just throwing that out there. Let's just say chicken parm. But if you say chicken vodka parm, which is just a drop of cream in the sauce, boom, now it's chicken vodka parm. This sounds so unique. But yet you also have the people, I'm sure. I have a friend, my friend Andrew, and he knows exactly who he is. He knows which Andrew we're talking about. If it's not a burger, he's not interested. Andrew's in his 60s, and yet I don't think he's ever tried anything outside of a burger. It's like, Andrew, you can expand, he's Italian. You can expand your horizons beyond a burger. God forbid the word fish be involved. Oh my God, he doesn't want to sit across from you if you order something with seafood. He's just a very close-minded guy when it comes to food. How do you balance that? You want to be creative and new, but at the same time, you have to have the traditional and the approachable dishes.
Yeah, and that's exactly it. It's looking at the menu, the balance of items that we have available, and we're always going to have a classic burger, but we'll always have a signature burger that's got some fun, wild ingredients on it for guests that want to get out of their comfort zone. I think Nomada is a great example. We have our classic margarita list with you choose your flavor, choose the salt or sugar rim you want for it, and choose how spicy you want it. But then we also have some really cool more classic inspired Mexican cocktails using some more unique ingredients that come from Mexico, such as like an herb called epazote. We have
Mm-hmm.
our own barrel of Patron that we single barrel that we picked out. So we kind of are able to use some of those ingredients on our more classic cocktail list. To kind of have that balance between both ingredients. We have tacos, and then we have, a series of more traditional style Mexican dishes as well on the food side. And I think that's really how we find that true balance to kind
I
of
love
appeal
it.
to everyone.
I love it. Well, it's a hard industry to be successful in, so the fact that you both are tells me everything about how hard you work. Dean Maroulakos and Thomas Maroulakos of Skopos Hospitality Group, thank you both for joining us. Please don't be strangers. Come back again. It's great to have you on today, and good luck with all the ventures you have.